Ladies and gentlemen, we beat King's Quest 6. It was
Good job,
okay.
guys.
Yeah. Do you think that the song killed the thing because of the copyright thing?
No.
I doubt it.
That can't.
That couldn't have.
No.
You don't think?
I mean, you might have, but it couldn't know it.
But maybe I.
Well, okay, so Sean, you said you had a whole lot of thoughts once we beat the game. This is going to be our special epilogue, our closing segment to King's Quest 6 now that we've beaten it. And Sean, I'd like you to kick it off a little bit.
Okay, well, so we don't have to talk about most of them because we've already run late. But there is one thing that I do really want to talk about, and that's it has to do with this game, and it kind of has to do with the whole premise of the show and the idea of adventure games and what is an adventure game. Actually, just real quick, to you guys, what is an adventure game? What does that mean?
I have an answer, but Bill, please go first.
Let me answer your question with another question, which is: do you mean the genre or the what, or a game with adventure in it?
No. I mean the genre, the genre of adventure games. What does that mean to you?
There's a couple subgenres, right? There's this one where you put everything in your pocket for the whole game, and then there's the first person kind. So I guess third person or first person, and usually clicking, but always walking.
Yeah, I mean the mostly walking thing is definitely resonant.
Yeah.
Sean?
So, as always, genres don't have good definitions, so I'm gonna give a feel and a mechanic.
Yeah.
So here's the mechanic that I think defines the classic adventure game, which is the item puzzles, where it's not a reflex challenge, it's not a stat challenge, it is you need the right key for the lock. And even if you think of something like the old Scum VM games, like Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, where you had push, pull, open, close, these sorts of things, these were basically multipliers to increase your inventory possibilities, so you had to think. Sometimes it wasn't just use item on thing, it was, pull item, where you had to think a little bit and use that. So I think of that mechanic as the item for solution as the classic adventure game, but I think most broadly, exploration would be the big word I think of when I think adventure, because I think of what we did, which was to go all over these islands, which, as much as we want to make fun of the mechanics, it was really cool to go around. I love the bone architecture of the River Styx. Oh,
yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, and then I think of other games like Skyrim, that very much so have that explore and go on an adventure, but rather than it being a storytelling type thing, which is what the King's Quest things are, it's a little bit more of a systems-based adventure of you're wandering and, oh my god, there's a bear you didn't know about sort of thing.
Yeah.
But that exploration is what's really pulling you through the world. I really like that.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic description, Sean. I think that's really, really awesome. Okay, so let me just say, for me, I tend to go back to storytelling, and I like to look at the narrative of the things that I play. And games have really interesting layers of narrative because often there's a plot that's baked into it, and there's also emergent narrative, and there's all of this crazy stuff. One of the things that I think about adventure games, right there in the name of the genre, adventure games are directly evolved from the adventure stories, the folk tales, the fairy tales, the stories of Gilgamesh, what's the freaking Beowulf, and Hercules, and these stories of adventurers who go out on adventures and do stuff, these epic quest stories that are as old as time, that there's a tradition of these adventure stories. And I think that adventure games are the interactive medium's adaptation of that tradition, that really rich, there's a guy who's got a quest and he goes out and he performs all of these tasks that he has to do. Like Hercules is literally like he's got to do a whole bunch of. He's got to do whatever the number of trials that he has to do. It's like structured exactly like an adventure game. So these stories. Here's what I want to get to. These stories, especially, these are the like proto stories that Joseph Campbell looked at when he was doing Hero with a Thousand Faces. Right? Hero. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thousand Faces.
Hero with a goal and a lantern, I think it was. Hero with a...
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Hero with a sword and a mission.
Hero with 1,000 items.
Hero with the feather from a black mare.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
So Joseph Campbell like analyzed all of this mythology, all of these adventure stories from different cultures, and put together like what are the bones of a story? What is the hero's journey? What is that like core story? And so I think adventure games, I'm really, really interested in the idea of looking at adventure games through the lens of what's the hero's journey? What's the story that we just told over the course of 12 hours playing this game?
Dude, I'm like, the thing that's weird to me about when it's interactive is how much linear stuff breaks down. So here's something to think about with Game of Thrones, which literally 100% of humanity has watched at this point.
Yes.
So
Not me.
you
Seriously?
No, I made it only partway through first season because I don't have HBO Go.
Okay. Whatever.
Interesting. Well. Okay, so for any of you who haven't seen it. Well, so anytime you, like with Game of Thrones where there's stories happening all over the place, I'm going to take Jon Snow, who goes up north. What do his chapters or scenes look like in Game of Thrones? It's some really interesting action of him deciding to go north. And then it's him, several chapters later, it's just him arriving at a wall. In between, what are those chapters? Other people and other places, but you come back and you get some highlights. And then it has like him north of the wall and you get some highlights. And if you just read the Jon Snow story arc, like with no other chapters, it would sound like bullshit. He's doing way too much interesting stuff, way too fast. He's all over the place, but the fact that the book or the TV series takes breaks and then revisits Jon Snow, you get that feeling of, oh, well, of course, stuff must have been happening. And these are the punctuated moments, and it feels right. And when we take a lot of the elements that you talk about from epics, like Hercules going in all these varying places and stuff, and then you put in an interactive setting, it feels wrong, right? Where it's like, this beast is like, I need a wife, oh, growl, look at my face, you probably hate my beast face, I'm going to turn you into beast in 3 hours. And we're like, alright, and technically, what a book would say is that we quested long and far and sought and panicked over turning into a beast and woed over what we could be every night, but we found a wonderful maiden who we could cause to fall in love with the beast and whatever. What do we actually do? We put the game speed down so we wouldn't turn into a beast, and we wandered back, and it's Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation. Walked to one of the only females in the world.
That's true.
And she just happened to be close, and marriage. It didn't feel right. Like
it's like the Pocahontas thing. It's like the Disney version versus the real life version. You know about that?
I don't know. Really... It's not.
Oh, really? Okay. So, what's his name? John Smith.
John Smith. Yeah.
Just to pick a name out of the air. So Pocahontas was like 12 and he was like 60 something in real life.
Okay.
But they did actually get together, but what I'm saying is that the Disney version is all heroic and stuff and like romantic, but the real version did happen. It's just that it happened in a much less compelling way. Like there was little to no romance. There was very little adventure. It was just a guy and
I mean, like I don't know that you can say there was no romance, there was no adventure, but it doesn't conform to what we imagine a romance should look like.
Yeah. It was much more day to day, let's say. It was like everything was wrong. I mean, yeah, it's like looking back on the girl in the tower storyline we've created here. It's a storyline made of fumbling with things in our pockets. Like that's what we did, you know.
That is what we did. You're right. You're right.
And now
You're totally right.
we're heroes now.
But what I love, one of the things I really love about King's Quest and like all the old school adventure games is how much effort they put into the insignificant. Whereas in other games, it just goes,
That's true.
you know, if you can't do something, it just kind of has this whoa, 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 whoa. It has a sad noise. And there's one sad noise for the entire game. And if you can't go somewhere, there's just a wall, and it won't let you. And things glow, you know, but here you can just look at all sorts of stuff, and you get these flowery, over-the-top descriptions that, you know, I might want to laugh at and call goofy, but you think about like a modern game. There's a thing that environment artists call a run-through, and environment artists hate run-throughs. A run-through is a segment where here's A and B is maybe 30 seconds away.
Okay.
And there's a whole environment all around that might take weeks to make perfect. And what does a player do? Hits A, goes tick, 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 runs through to B, done. Over, right? And it's that, you, like, as an environment artist, you might be like, Jesus, I fucking spent, look at it! You know? And there's just so much charm in King's Quest, where you just look at things and there's a lot of redundant art styles of a lot of things, you know, the way a grungy military vehicle might look in a modern war game, but there's just this charming dialogue all the time that I don't know, I really like it.
Well, and there's a part of the game that incentivizes you to explore all of that, because if you don't click on every random thing, then you're going to miss something.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's the thing too, is if you want people to look at your art, you need to make a game mechanic that requires them to.
Yeah, right.
Like I recall that Disney was having some problems at their theme parks with like kids being on their phones, you know? So like they wouldn't actually experience the Disney parks anymore because they just were on their iPhones.
Huh.
So they made like an app that required you to, or they made an app that got you into a sort of experience that required you to look for hidden stuff in the real world.
So when I played it, this was the Kim Possible.
Yeah.
At Epcot Center, which was amazing. I mean, it was a like really, really cool thing that they did. Like real life ARG adventure kind of a thing. And so if you guys aren't familiar with this, the Imagineers at Disney like built stuff into the park that is completely, it like looks normal. It looks like it should be there until you walk up to it with the little cell phone and you press the right button, and then all of a sudden like the thing that looked like a wall opens up and it's a door and there's like a whole scene playing out or something really crazy like that. It's like such an amazing, mind-blowing hidden world illusion. Anyway, that's a tangent. But yeah, Bill, that's like...
Yeah. It's the Where's Waldo effect. It's like, if you want to, like, you know, Where's Waldo is a book that is good to put art in because everyone's looking as hard as they can at your pictures.
Yeah, right. Right.
In terms of, like, the looking, there was this... It was kind of funny how close the line was between that feeling of wonder of, wait, can I do this? And then it would go... and I'd be like, and it would feel so good, and it always felt like, you know, we uncovered a secret. No one else has ever figured it out. We're special. Like, I had that special feeling. But then there's other circumstances where it was like, dude, well, that's bullshit. You know?
In the castle, like, I still don't understand how we got through that.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. Because, I mean, I had that same, oh my god, feeling when I was trying to solve some of the really hard puzzles in Fez. Where you're just banging your head against a wall, and then you just have that, wait. And then you do a thing, and you're like, oh my god. You feel like the smartest person in the world. And, you know, like, God of War 3 is a game I loved. Thought it was fantastic. At no point did I have that, oh my god, I'm the smartest person in the world. I had that, oh dude, I'm on a Titan, nifty. But I can, I don't feel unique.
Right.
We're all on Titans.
That's right. Well, this is a game that culls everyone who isn't super great. And only those of us who truly are heroes make it to the end.
Well,
that's my opinion.
We successfully
Bill.
We did it, guys. We're the best. You know what, Bill, if I could ask you for some closing thoughts. We're going to do a little closing, and then we're going to wrap this puppy.
Well, closing thoughts. I think that really at the end of this adventure, my thoughts go back to the realm of Daventry, where who was it that sent him on this quest? His mom?
No, he just left his mother. He
just like totally.
Well, but she was like, "Oh, but you've been seeing this woman in a dream, so you need to go, right?" I think there was a.
Is the mom Rosalind? She's in the next game. We played a game with her.
Dopamine?
Her name is. Yeah, Dopamine.
Pentothal. No, she's I thought the mom was in like an early cinematic, and we never saw her face or something. Like he was staring at her
Yes,
stomach.
I think that's true.
So she'll never see him again. But will she hear from him? I don't know. I guess in theory, maybe. And what about the sailors?
Magic mirror? Was that a magic mirror? Is that still a thing?
Oh, maybe.
I don't know.
It's just weird, right? That now he's decided to live out the rest of his life. So here's, in my opinion, here's sort of what happened. In the hero's journey, you start at a stasis point. You start at a point of comfort.
Yeah.
You learn that you want more. You go out of your place of comfort through a threshold.
Situation.
You go to the green isles of the world, and then you usually come back and bring something with you. In this case, he's just decided that now this realm of challenge and difficulty is actually just feels like home.
Did he pay a heavy price? I feel like he only got
shit that he picked up
the
and
hero's
used.
journey.
Yeah, I think he's only halfway through. Yeah. The heavy price is going to be, when things go south.
That's right.
The sequel. He returns back to Daventry.
King's Quest 9, Alexander's Divorce.
That's right. I don't know. I actually don't know.
She took my mints.
Journey. I read about it. I don't know that I really. I think you can make stuff that applies to the hero's journey, but like I don't know that it's.
That it actually really works.
Yeah, I'm not sold on it. I mean, I believe in iteration between levels of comfort, places of comfort and discomfort.
Yeah.
But like, the finer points seem a little.
Well, and I don't know how much of that happened in the game, honestly. I'm really, really curious. I'm excited to play another adventure game and have a point of reference to compare it to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, is that anything we...
Oh, I'll handle that puppy.
I don't know.
At the
Are
end.
we?
Oh, okay.
Don't you worry, Sean. If you have any final thoughts, if you have any closers.
It's as has been brought up in the past, this is remembered as one of the high points, one of the shining moments, if not the pinnacle of the like 90s 2D point and click adventure game.
God, that's so sad.
And it's hard to not look back on it with aesthetics that are based on playing games today and sort of knowing things that I know about, or it's not even knowing things, it's just the culture of gaming and like what it means to play a game. Like there are parts of this game that are so ridiculous, but they didn't seem ridiculous at the time. They seemed normal. Like that was it was actually really exciting to have a game challenge you by asking you to keep track of things that had happened in the past and have saves for every possibility and go back and replay part of it to make sure that you get it exactly right. Like that was actually that was a benefit to the game. That wasn't a thing that was insane and frustrating. So I don't know. but there's also that's nostalgia talking, right? Like we
Yeah.
have moved beyond that, and so I can no longer view that as like legitimate practice.
Well, except maybe it's just that we're not the pinnacle of adventure game players for this style of game. Maybe a true pro would be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, come on. You need to have a naming system for your save games and
Yeah, step it up,
So on.
scrubs.
we're just casuals."
Yeah, so I mean, I think this is. I think you're absolutely right. Like, this is a style of game, and it exists in a particular culture in a particular time, and it's interesting to sort of take it out of that time and play it. But like I said, I'm really, really eager to compare it to some other things that existed around that time, or that are done in that tradition, because I'll be curious to see how it holds up in that context.
The things I want to say about is two things really stand out to me. One is that it's ridiculous how many notions of who we are or who the player is exist. Because I mean, like, I'll take Skyrim. I feel like I am my player.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. In this game, I feel like a completely separate person from Alexander. I think Alexander is the dumbest person who has ever lived on the Green Isles. And there's a narrator who is such a strong character throughout. So it's like us with Alexander the idiot with the asshole narrator. It's a really weird experience. This is the only three people who are there the whole journey through. So I'm interested to see. I mean, I think it's interesting with a lot of adventure games because like who the important characters are from a first-person perspective tend to be huge. Like Kratos, I can see is kind of different from me in God of War 3, but I basically consider it to be me, and sometimes watch him do badass things, and I'm like, oh, power trip. But I'm very eager to see other adventure games do that because the narrator plays a really insanely strong role.
That's a great point.
Only as strong as like the narrator in BioShock. Like that's a modern example of how the narrator is interestingly explored, but strong narrators I think are rooted in these old adventure games. And the second thing is the notion of fair is just not the same as it is now. Like,
it's true.
People talk about, oh yeah, it's so unfair that you only have like 3 lives and you have to find extra lives to continue. Well, in this game you're screwed and nobody tells you. You have to decide that you're screwed and start over. Most games like this, you just restarted tens of times before you beat. And you get a little farther each time, and that was considered very normal. And then in games like SimCity, it's considered normal to screw up and to rebuild your city and to start again. But in a game like Gears of War, you would not do that. You would just keep plowing forward, dying and repeating and dying and repeating and dying and repeating, and it's really cool. So right now it is officially the end of King's Quest VI. Thanks so much for watching our first ever game.
Yay!
So Mr. Sean Bouchard is out of town next weekend. So before we begin our next big game, Bill and I are going to do a one-shot of some tiny-ass adventure game next week on Monday. So it'll be a mostly walking one-shot starring not Sean Bouchard. And then after that, we will be starting yet another game. And we'll be taking all the crowd suggestions for what our new long-form adventure shall be. So without any further ado, I am Sean Plott.
And I'm Bill Grainer.
And I'm Sean Bouchard.
Thank you so much for watching King's Quest VI, the mostly walking edition. Go out, find old games, and be amazed at how much fun you're having on a game you might call bad. See you next time!